Of course, we love to stockpile a wide variety of foods. Amazing. But with survival, in reality, you only need three. I mean it. You could literally stockpile just these three foods and you could survive, 138 years. Maybe not that long. But with these three foods, I want you to understand that even though these should be your priority, you still want to have a variety, different flavors and stuff. But for survivability, it's just these three. And I want to tell you, this is not just an opinion. I'm going to show you scientifically speaking the facts and why that's all you need are these three foods. And it's going to be really cool. You'll find this very informative, by the way. So I ask you to stick through it. There may be a couple things in here you've seen before, but to the end, stuff I'm going to show you've never seen before. Pretty neat. All right, the first two foods I'm just going to kind of lump together at first because I think most preppers already stockpile these. Rice and beans, don't they? I mean, you probably have some rice and beans. They're fantastic. And I'm with you. We have lots of rice and beans too. They're tasty. I love rice and beans. They're inexpensive. You can buy it in massive amount of bulks, not even just like at like Costco or Sam's. You can go to Walmart and get it in bulk. You can actually order it through Walmart, even bigger ones. Our Amish store has these things too. They're fantastic. And they store very easily. And that's nice because you don't have to really do a lot of extra stuff to store them. So rice and beans are fantastic. Granted, on a downfall, you have to have lots of heat to prepare it, even if you soak it. And if you've never actually been out in a situation where you literally have to make heat with wood all the time, it's kind of a pain when you have to put a lot of heat into it. But you know what? Because they store so easy and they're so inexpensive, it is worth it. They're a very good prep. But what I want to do is between these first two and then show you the last thing you need to prep, I'm going to show you biochemically speaking, as a doctor, I'll show you the biochemistry, what is going on with this to show you that it is true, these three things, especially the rice and beans. But first, to understand this, I want to talk a minute about amino acids. And I talk about these all the time. So when I talk about amino acids, I talk about proteins. So proteins are it. Proteins are the key. They're everything for your body. The best way to understand that, by the way, is I borrowed these from my kids, Legos. So I have three Legos here. I have like the little 8-piecer. They have some kind of little triangle one, and they have this little square one. And basically, if you want to make a new protein, you just take those different amino acids and you put them in different configurations, and now you have a structural or a functional protein. If it's structural, it actually makes structure for you in your body. If it's functional, it's like a hormone that floats through your bloodstream, or it's an enzyme that carries out a reaction. But this is so important that you actually have all of the individual amino acids to put together to make that protein. Because here's the problem. If you're deficient in a specific amino acid, which can happen, let's say you're missing this one right here, you can't make the protein. And if you can't make that protein, you can't make the structure or function. Your body's going to survive or have a difficult time. And the term is disease. That's why disease kicks in, because nutritionally speaking, we don't always have everything we're supposed to have. Now, when it comes to these amino acids, by the way, that make your proteins, there's really two kinds. We have what's called essential and non-essential. And in our mind, we think essential, oh, we have to have that protein. But no, in medicine, essential means you have to eat it. In fact, you've probably seen like on a cereal box, contains 9 essential, vitamins and minerals. In other words, what it means by that, it's 9 minerals that you must eat because our body can't manufacture them. That's the whole point of vitamins and minerals. But when it comes to proteins too, when we have essential amino acids, it means the only way for us to get these essential amino acids is by eating those amino acids. It's the only way. And just like I made this little structure for you, you have to have them or you will not have the structure or functions in your body and you'll have disease. And then, of course, the non-essential proteins, those are the proteins that for us, they literally, we can make them. So we may take one protein, it goes through a chemical process and boom, and now we have another protein. And we can do this all day long. And most of our amino acids, the non-essential ones, we can do this. Very neat. Okay, so let's go through the amino acids real quick. This will not be on the test. Don't have to worry about memorizing this. It may actually look like there's a lot to it, but don't stress over that. So first I'm going to show you these green amino acids listed here are all our 11 non-essential amino acids. We don't have to eat these. We can make all of these amino acids, so these are not a problem. However, down here in red, here's our 9 essential amino acids. We cannot make these. We have to take them in through food. So if we want to understand if we can survive on 3 foods, can we survive, for example, on rice and beans? Do they have basically all of those essential amino acids? Let's start off with rice. Rice does not have this amino acid right here, threonine. So the problem is if that's all you ate was rice, only rice, 10 meals a day, nothing but rice the rest of your life, you will suffer from a lack of threonine. And that would be bad. Disease would kick in over time because you'd run out of the threonine that you actually had before you went on your rice diet, and now you'll have disease. What about beans? Beans are limited in leucine. That's a different amino acid. So you'd end up with a leucine deficiency and again disease. So if someone is on a all bean all day diet and that's all they ate was beans, besides the after effects of having lots of gas with it, they would be missing this amino acid and they would have disease. But this is pretty neat. If you eat nothing but rice and beans, these two foods complement one another and voila, all of your essential amino acids have been met. Rice doesn't have threonine, but beans do. Beans don't have leucine, but rice does. And now you have all your essential amino acids. That is great. So rice and beans, proteins, check. If you ate nothing but rice and beans the rest of your life, you will have all the amino acids, all the proteins you'll ever need for the rest of your life, and you will be good to go. But wait, are amino acids the only thing that are essential? In other words, are amino acids the only thing we must take in by eating? No, we also have to have what are called essential fats, or we also call essential lipids. And when it comes to fats that we must eat, our body can't make them, so we have to transform them into other types of fats. There's 3 of them we're going to look at. Simply omega-3s, omega-6s, and omega-9s. Real quick, omega-6s are essential too, but you know what? There's lots of these in foods. We get this all the time. It's easy to get. And omega-9s, they're actually made from omega-3s, so this isn't a problem either as long as you have your omega-3s. But the omega-3s, that's a different story, and we have to take a look at this one. Because when it comes to essential lipids, it's all about these omega-3s. You have to eat these, and you can convert them to omega-9s, everything's good. But omega-3s, you have to have these. If you don't, it leads to disease. So what kind of disease are we talking about here? Understanding about omega-3s, they actually literally make up 8% of your brain. So obviously for your brain function, it's vitally important. They prevent depression, prevent Parkinson's disease, prevent Alzheimer's, prevent dementia. They reduce psychotic behavior and psychosis. They manage your cholesterol, regulate your heart, regulate blood pressure. They help you manage your weight and manage inflammation. Are you seeing a connection here? This is why I love the prepping community, by the way, because we prep for the future, but we also see things other people don't want to see. Because here we are, for the last, since the 80s, I think it is, they've been pushing low-fat diet. Low-fat diet. You need to get off of fat. You're going to be healthier and slimmer and all this. It's a complete lie. Either malicious or they have no idea what they're talking about. It's malicious. So because of this, now today we have an epidemic of depression, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, dementia, psychotic behavior. Is it just me? I don't know. Maybe it's just where I live. I don't know. It seems to be that just psychotic behavior is exacerbating. It's amplifying. Are you seeing this too? Maybe it's just me. And cholesterol, let's not even talk about that, is through the roof. And they tell you, oh, you know what? Because you ate this fatty stuff all the time and you ate the fat on your steak and everything, you have high cholesterol. No, there's a huge genetic factor with that, by the way. But because of that, now their solution are statins. How many of you are on statins? And you need to research the problem with that drug that's associated with it. Cardiovascular is the number one killer. And we're in a society right now of high blood pressure or simply hypertension and obesity, not to mention chronic inflammation. All that comes along the lines with those same things when we're talking about specifically these essential fats, which we're trying to cut out of our life. And with this, when you have the inflammation, pain. Inflammation is very painful. People don't even know they're in pain from inflammation. They just think, oh, I'm getting old. No, it's usually inflammation. And so therefore now take these pills. And they'll always tell you these pills have the same risk the other pills do of possibly causing cardiovascular disease and heart attack and dying. So omega-3s are good. You want to have your omega-3 fats. Do rice and beans have your omega-3s? That's the question. It does, by the way, just in very small amounts, because we need to supplement our diet with more. That's not enough to basically bring in to start off disease. So that comes into our third food for survival, rice and beans, and something that's high in omega-3s. So with that, let's look at some foods that are rich in omega-3s. Mackerel, you'd be amazed how many omega-3s are in mackerel. It's huge. Salmon, herring, cod liver oil, sardines, caviar, walnuts, flaxseed oil, and chia seeds. So, are we seeing another trend? We are. Fish. All these different things are rich in omega-3s. Like walnuts are great. I like walnuts, but fish are so high in these essential fats. They're fantastic for you. Now, eggs have quite a bit of omega-3s too, but fish is like 6 times more, far more in fish. And so does red meat, by the way. Red meat also has some omega-3s, which is good. You get your essential fats from red meat. But we're finding that red meat's good, but when you actually get the grass-fed red meat, which is like the really expensive, amazing, delicious stuff, then it's even higher. But fish is fantastic. Fish is a really good thing to have there. So here we go. There's your thing for you. The perfect foods for survival, simply put, rice and beans. That's a lot of people stockpile anyway. And fish. And unless you have some kind of pond in your backyard with mackerel, which you might, by the way, it'd be awesome. I stockpile a lot of canned fish, specifically salmon and sardines. I'm a big tuna guy too. But when we talk about having the omega-3s, you don't need a lot of it, by the way. Just, one small can of something per day or every couple of days is enough to keep it going. But having your rice and beans and canned fish, I like canned meat overall, but canned fish is fantastic. So that's your recipe for survival, by the way, even if you stockpile nothing else, which you still want to. I mean, at least spices to go with your rice and beans, but have different foods for flavor. It gets boring in the apocalypse. So have your rice and beans and fish and other stuff too, and you'll be good to go. But here's the question for you to end off with today. Ready? What's your favorite fish? If you could have any fish in the world, and that would be one thing that you'd have the rest of your life, what is it? I'm a fish kind of guy. And honestly, up here in Michigan, it's salmon for me. Because in the rivers up here, we have salmon fishing. And I'll tell you, I love fishing for like walleye. It's such a thrill catching a walleye and eating after. But the salmon are like these massive things, and you have to put up an incredible battle to catch them. I love fishing for salmon. I love to eat salmon. So that's me. What's your favorite fish? Put in the comments below. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for being here. And we'll see you tomorrow.